Well, start off by introducing yourself and the character and a little bit of the show.
My name is Matthew Janice. I play Shrek in the musical Shrek.
And I am David Schlumpf, and I am playing Lord Farquaad in the musical Shrek.
Tell me about your characters. What are your characters like? And are they a lot like the movies, or pretty much the same as the movie?
Yeah, Shrek in the musical, it's very true to the story with slight things like Shrek doesn't meet Donkey till later in the story than compared to the movie. But as a character, he's pretty much the same, goes on the same journey as the movie.
Mm-hmm. And I think the big difference for Farquaad is just sort of trying to figure out how to create a character that's as short as he is. But everything else is pretty true to his character. But the gag becomes how you see Farquaad being so different in height to Shrek, which is a pretty hilarious gag.
Okay. So tell me, how did you guys get into characters, especially since it's short? And you're a pretty tall character yourself. Totally. So how do you get into the mindset? Because Lord Farquaad is he's an angry little man.
Right. I will say, there was one moment in rehearsals where, because I am a pretty tall guy, and so the way we were doing it, where I was having to look up to people all the time to do these scenes, and it's really kind of the first time I've ever had to really look up at people. So for a brief moment, I was like, oh, gotcha, this is like major Napoleon syndrome. I got that. I understand this now, and I understand why he's so frustrated. Cool, done. Great character. Check. Short and angry. Great. I'll go work on the set now. But yeah, no, it's really, really interesting. It's always neat to play characters that are so different from yourself. But this is a stretch for me, and that's different from anything I've ever done before. So
a stretch or a shrink.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. Is the same for you?
Yeah, I actually think Shrek may be the closest to myself I've ever played. I tend to get cast in very angry people roles, just because I'm attached to my anger. But him being goofy with these soft, sweet moments is more than I've gotten to play in a long time. So I'm glad to get back into comedy.
I'm surprised that you play angry all the time.
I do play angry
quiet,
a lot.
nice guy.
I know.
What are some of the angry roles you've played?
Well, I was Billy Bigelow last year at the Wagon Wheel Theater.
True.
All angry. I was Roger in Rent. He's very brooding and angry. Yeah. I played this angry guy. I was the guy in Barefoot in the Park.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
His whole thing is he gets angry. Same thing in the play, playing a nice guy who needs to get in touch with his anger. I'm just an angry guy. On stage.
Well, that translates well to Shrek, though. Now,
that's his moments.
Now, for Shrek, was it all costume? Was it makeup? And how long does that process take?
It's an hour and a half right now, but the more times we do it, we take it down, and it's a lot of costume underneath. Obviously, the padding, and I have 3-inch platform heels to make me taller than everyone. But the face itself is it's divided in 3 pieces with a mouthpiece, a headpiece, and then something that wraps around my entire head to get the ears, and then there's few things around my eyes and my mouth, but it's glued on prosthetics that really do a good job of accentuating the facial features, and they move with my face, very pliable. And it's not bad at all. I was expecting 3 hours and sleeping in a chair while people glue things to me.
Exactly.
This is the first time you've had to undergo that much process? So.
Yes, definitely. This is the most covered I'll ever be. It's great. I don't have to worry about dieting, how my skin looks.
Although you said you're shirtless in the next show.
I am shirtless in the next show. So
shed all kinds of Shrek weight.
Yeah.
Every night.
Now, Shrek, there were 4 Shrek movies made. What do you think made Shrek so popular? I mean, the first one is probably the most popular. What makes it popular? What attracts people to this series?
I mean, I've always thought that the cool thing about the Shrek movies is that it's an adult movie that is it kind of has this feigned children's story thing going on. Like it has the appearance of being a fairy tale of a kid's movie. People can really bring their kids and they can watch, but all this really intelligent and sometimes bawdy humor completely goes over their kids' heads. So it's that rare thing where you get to actually enjoy, both the parents and the kids get to really enjoy the story. And I think that's actually really true for this script too. I mean, it's you've got your moments that are going to be really, really cool for just the kids. You've got the moments that are going to be great for the adults, and then, I mean, some of the magic that's being done in this show with puppetry and the costuming is it's going to be for everybody. So I think that's what's really great about the story and with the musical too. So it's going to be really cool.
Yeah, I think with it, especially in the first one, because I've noticed I watched all 4 just to get little snippets of all of Shrek's facets. The first one, I think, was a lot more groundbreaking than the rest of the franchise. You can even notice, just in being up in 2001 is when the first movie came out, that starting up with Pixar, this was like DreamWorks big, like, we're going to compete with Toy Story. And it has really gritty animation, and with that gritty real-world animation from the first one comes the gritty adult humor that the musical and the movie has, as opposed to the second and third and fourth, who got progressively cartoonier and more sampled to a younger audience. But the musical, is way more rooted in the first one, which has those adult humor, nothing that's like smut or over the top, but like stuff that the ironic, puppet things like, like Pinocchio is in denial that he's a wooden boy, like sort of like a human who's denying he's balding or something.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Now the music, everyone knows the "I'm a Believer" song. Is that in there? And what are all those songs catchy as well, or?
Oh yeah, totally. I think "I'm a Believer" is the only thing from the movie.
Yes,
because it's just so iconic with like kind of the credits, running that scene with the credits. So it's actually it's a song that happens right after Bows for this too. So I think it's too iconic to tear away from it. But yeah, everything is really catchy, and everybody sort of has their own. I wouldn't say full musical style, but everybody really has a sound of their own. Your stuff is really, I think, really rocky. Mm-hmm. My stuff kind of goes all over the place. It's really kind of farcical.
Yeah, I love the Farquaad songs. Literally, your first song is very show-tuney, and then your second song is a western.
Right.
It's a western. Like the styles of this show. Who wrote it? I'm not very good with names. Jenny Tamor.
No.
That's the
Julie
director.
Tamor. It's the same writer as Thoroughly Montemilli. And
Violet and Carolina Change, whatever. The music is very versatile and changes, and even from like a rock anthem that Shrek opens with, and the next song is the fairy tale creatures, which has an entirely different feel, and then you have donkey stuff, which is all like Motowny and like a completely different sound, which I think is nice, as opposed to other musicals that tend to maybe have the same sound throughout. Shrek really has. Each character has its own pivotal style to go with who they are.
Right. And then you get up towards the end of the play, and you've got like Freak Flag, which is this huge like anthem that's sung by all of the fairy tale characters, and it kind of sums up the whole plot of the story, the moral of the story, I think. So it's a really cool.
What would you say the moral is?
I think the one for me the big difference. With the musical is that they've really pushed this idea of being different is not just okay, it's celebrated. It's the things that make you different, that make you strong, I think is close to one of the lines that they say in the music. What would you say?
Yeah, I think that's very true, because in the movie you tend to focus on just the main characters, where in the musical venue you really get to flesh out all the other fairy tale creatures and really get a sense, where the movie was more about Shrek and Fiona's love, which is still prevalent in this musical, but you also get a sense that it's the struggle of being different and being quote-unquote ugly / someone who's like, farcical, the extremes like being a bear and being a wooden boy, how that's different as opposed to the perfection that Farquaad wants.
Yeah, and it's the moment that Fiona has at the end of the play where she kisses Shrek and she doesn't change back into her human form. She stays as an ogre, and she realizes that what she needed to do all along was just fall in love with herself as much and be true to herself, and then true love can come along. And I think that they've taken that and spread it out for everybody, all of the characters, and loving themselves for whoever they are, for their own strengths and individualities.
Well, you mentioned all the characters. Are all the characters from the movie in here, or which are just some of them, or which are some of the other characters that appear in the show?
It's pretty close. I mean, I know there's some that are.
All of them. I'd say the biggest one is the magic mirror. Is not in the musical.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
But at the gingerbread man is there, the cross-dressing wolf is there, the three pigs are there, Pinocchio is there,
Ugly Duckling, the Wicked Witch.
Yeah. Of course, the leads.
Of course. And then there's actually a couple extra ones. There's like an elf and
a Mad Hatter.
Right, that they bring in the Mad Hatter. Yeah, so it's a pretty good plethora of all of the ones that were in the movie, except for the mirror, and then other fairy tale creatures and personalities.
Okay. I understand this is the regional premiere for this musical. That's got to be a big deal, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think Wagon Wheel does a pretty phenomenal job of grabbing up these shows. And 2 years ago we had the regional premiere of Tarzan, and it's really a big deal that these companies are releasing the rights to Wagon Wheel and giving Warsaw the opportunity to see these shows before anybody else in the country. I mean, it's pretty cool. And actually, I didn't realize this, but they've been doing that. I mean, Wagon Wheel's been doing that for kind of throughout their entire history. They were getting the rights to things right off the bat since the 50s. I think Pajama Game was one of them. Not Family Opera. Phantom by Morieston. When that came out, they pick up these shows right away. So it's really cool that they have that relationship with the licensing companies. It's a really, really neat opportunity.
Yeah, especially doing it, getting the rights right away, and then trying to put it in the round.
Right, exactly.
Extra that all,
yep.
Challenge. It would be one thing, this is the first time you're going to do this in a proscenium, which is you can hide behind walls and you can turn around and no one will see you.
Right.
Around.
It's
all
really,
different kinds of magic.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about, being in the round. There's really, it's so real because there's no escaping. And so it's really hard to do magic in the round because there's no way to hide anything. So that makes it even better when you do see it. And the other thing I would say is that it's not, and then so it's the opportunity to see what the show is going to be like in the round. It's also the opportunity to see what the show is going to be like on 1/100th of the budget that they had on Broadway. I mean, the amount of magic and costuming and set and the work that's being done for the amount of money that they're doing it here is absolutely phenomenal. It's just really, really amazing what they are able to get done. I remember when the Tarzan people came to see Tarzan, and they asked them what their budget was, and they were absolutely blown away that they were doing the effects that they were doing on as small a budget as they were. And so it just goes to show when you know how to do it right. What can I say? So
cool. Well, are you both of you here all summer long, or how many shows are you guys here for?
I'm here for the first 2 shows.
Okay.
I'm doing Shrek in '95, and then I'm going back to Chicago to do a show.
I'm here all summer, all 6 shows.
Great. Well, I guess last question. Anything else about this show you should let people know or encourage them to come out? Or
yeah, I mean, just come and see it. I think that it's rare that I see a show or I'm part of a show where I'm blown away by the magic that I see on stage. And like I said, the puppetry and the magic in this show is really, really phenomenal. And I think it's going to blow people away. So you don't want to miss it.
Yeah, I would say come. It's the same lovable story of Shrek, yet with a whole bunch of new jokes and a whole bunch of changes that even if you've watched the movie 100 times, you will show up to the musical and laugh your face off.
Great. Well, thank you guys very much.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Thank you.